Hi, I'm Steve Maher, the ergonomics guy, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how to choose a desk for either your office or your home. There's a few considerations before you go out and buy a desk. What are you going to use it for? Do you want it to stand? Is it going to be fixed? So there's a lot of different considerations. One thing that we're seeing is people are getting desks that aren't deep enough. And so they get a desk top that's only 24 inches deep, then they put two giant monitors on it and their keyboard. And so they're sitting against the edge of the desk and it's like they're in the front row of the theater. So when you're out looking for a desk, make sure that it's going to be deep enough so you can sit back far enough so that you're not really close to the screens. You want to make sure that it's the right level. So if you're going to use it as your primary work surface, what you're going to want to do is relax your shoulders, bend your elbows about 90 degrees, straighten out your wrists, and the keyboard should be about fingertip level. Most desks are about 30 inches high out of the box. So for most people, this is too high, and what happens is when they type, they're way up here. This desk is an adjustable height desk, and I can simply press this button and bring it down to the right level for me, which is great. You can think about getting a desk that has an electric motor that will bring it up and down. We have a lot of clients that have grommets in the desk with a crank, and you can crank the desk up and down, which is another way to do it so you can move it to exactly where you want. Some desks have a limited range, so they go from about 24 to about 35 inches. So they're accommodating different height people in sitting. A lot of people want to stand these days. So if you're going to get an electric desk, you might as well have it come all the way up to standing so you have the option. And what you're going to do there is, in this case, just press the button and bring the desk up so that the keyboard is at elbow level. Okay, so this just takes a second. So you bring it somewhere up in this area. Make sure that it has the right range. So when you're sitting, you can sit with your feet on the floor comfortably in that neutral posture that we've talked about. Then bring the keyboard up to your belly button pretty much so that your wrists are nice and straight. Okay, so you got to make sure it's low enough, but then when you're standing, you want to make sure that it comes high enough to hold you in basically that same position. So if you're going to buy an entire desk, there's a lot of them out there. You want to make sure that it has the right depth and it's going to fit in the right spot. Okay. Now, for a lot of people, they want to stand in the workstation. The problem is they can't afford or don't want to buy a whole new desk system. So they've created a lot of things like the FlexiSpot has one, VariDesk has one, Ergotron has one. There's a lot of different things as we pan across here. There's a lot of different sort of add-ons that we can put on the desk surface that allow you to come up to standing. So what these units are, they're basically adjustable height platforms on springs. This one's here in the back, and you just pull this up and the whole platform comes up to elbow level, and then the monitors come with it. So then you can adjust the height of the monitor and the tilt of the monitor. And that's great as long as it's the right height. With this system, to adjust the monitor height, there's a screw back there. You got to loosen it. You can adjust the monitor height and lock them in place. Then when you go to sit, the whole thing just comes down. They set the tension in the spring, so it's actually very easy to raise this up and down. The thing to consider with the desktop units is how does it come up and down. Some of them have paddles on the side that you squeeze to release the tension, and then it pulls up. And some of them pull up and out, so they actually hold you further back from the desk. Other ones are more like this one, where they pretty much come straight up and down, or just a slight variation. What you're going to want to look for here is, again, make sure there's enough depth between your keyboard position and the monitor. So if you have this built-in wrist rest, your keyboard is here, you're about 8 inches from the screen, and for a lot of people, that's just too close. The other thing with the desktop models is you want to make sure there's enough width for the keyboard and the mouse. So a lot of them have sort of cutouts that come in around the side to support the monitor, so they're not on this pole, but there's not enough space for both the keyboard and the mouse. So make sure there's plenty of width so you can accommodate the keyboard and the mouse. The drawback to the desk surface units is that they only go up from the desktop. And that's great if you're tall enough to use the desk as your primary work surface. The problem is, if your keyboard needs to be below the level of the desk, you're always going to be reaching up when you're typing. And so this comes up, but it doesn't come down to where I really need it. And that's where this unit comes in. This is an Ergotron. And the difference here is that it's got the keyboard suspended from this little arm here that allows you to bring the keyboard all the way down below the level of the desk. And then if you want to stand, it just slides up to here. So you can get the keyboard back to about belly button level. The monitor is on a spring, and so the monitor will move up and down as well. And so it's very easy to position this exactly where you want it when you're standing, and then you can bring it down below the level of the desk and work down here. So this is a really good unit too. We'll recommend both of these depending on different situations. And to see which unit would work best for you, please give us a call at Site Solutions, or send us an email at sitesolutions@hotmail.com, or visit our website, theergonomicsguy.com. Thank you.